up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of In My Feelings. Well, I'm all up in my feelings about something. Today, I must talk about people being late. People being late to shows, podcasts, events. This is an issue. This is a very, very grave issue. It could be. And I'm mentioning this and I'm bringing this up because twice this week on the podcast, people showed up late. And yesterday we did an episode and it caused like real deal friction between two of the guests on the Fuck Your Feelings episode. And that was because, and that was Anya, I'm actually wearing his hoodie right now. He gave to me. Anya Malik and Rod Kells. But it was the second time that this happened because I did another episode. That was another episode that we did, and somebody else showed up late. And the problem is you impeding on people's time. So I'm a punctual person. Okay, I'm always a punctual person. I'm always on time. If I'm late, I'm late on purpose. Because I know something's gonna start late. So, and I think part of that is people assume this podcast is gonna start late. So people like, oh, I could just get there 5, 10, 15 minutes late and it won't be a big deal. But I'm actually here because I'm setting up and everything. So anyways, this is the point I'm getting to. Being late is an issue. And I know some people are always running late, but the issue with this is if it's affecting other people's time. So being on set as an actor, there have been several times where actors are showing up late. Right? They're showing up late. And what this is causing an issue because if you're not in place at the proper time, at the right time, production can't get started. The shooting can't get started. Things go overtime. And with overtime, you have to pay more money. The company does. Let's say it's a studio. Let's say it's Warner Brothers, a CBS, or whoever. They have to pay more money for the employees because you got there late and you have now pushed production over. Now, how it relates to this podcast in life in general when people are always late. So let's say somebody's late to this podcast. Okay. That's fine. It's a little podcast. It's getting very little views. It's not Joe Rogan. It's not Drink Champs. It's not, $1 million worth of game. It's nothing huge, right? I get it. I understand that. Okay. It's not flagrant. I get that. However, someone told me a long time ago, how you treat the small things is how you're going to treat the bigger things, right? Some people like, well, if it was a real podcast or if this was a real event, I would have showed up on time. I'm sure that's the mentality of some of the people. But the truth of the matter is you may not. You probably won't because you have put such a routine and habit into you appearing places late all the time. Some people are like habitual late people. Some people are just like always late. They're always walking into a room apologizing. Late people always have to walk into a room apologizing. And I try my best to not have to walk into a room apologizing. I don't want to have to start off a conversation saying, I'm sorry I was late because of X, Y, and Z that the person really don't give a fuck about. Because that's the thing. When these late people are giving these excuses on why they're late, the person that they're late to whatever event that they're late for, like that person really don't give a shit. They're like, I'm just happy you showed up, but I wish you would have been here on time. And everybody else has been waiting on you. And so here's the bigger issue. It's like, okay, you do this for a small podcast. Cool. I respect it, showing up 5, 10, 15 minutes. And I can respect the 5 minutes late. I can maybe respect the 6 to 7 minutes late. But when it starts to get to 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes late, now you're just being disrespectful to everybody. And like I said, so now let's graduate this thinking. Let's graduate the issue to a bigger platform, to a bigger thought. You're now an actor on, like I said, a CBS show or ABC show or HBO Max show or Stars. In your entire life, you have grown accustomed to showing up late. Okay. So now it's an extra struggle for you to get somewhere on time. Say you got to be on set at 6 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. Now you're showing up 5:35, 5:40, 6 o'clock. You're supposed to be there at 5:30 a.m. That word is going to start getting around. Okay, the producers, the directors, the studio heads, that information does get back to them. And they're going to say this person, him or them or they or him or her, whatever the fuck you want to go by. This person is showing up late. This person is causing us money. The other actors are waiting on set, the grip, the hair and makeup, the everybody, the sound engineer, everybody's waiting on set for this person. Word's gonna travel. Now, let me tell you how this is gonna affect you even further. This business is built on relationships. Life in general is built on relationships, but Hollywood in particular is built on relationships. And if you start having word going around that you are just always showing up late, that's bad for business. That's bad for your relationships. That's going to hinder you for the next project. A lot of actors have something that's very funny. They feel like they could do and say and act however they want to act because they're currently working. But guess what? Unless you hit a super lick like some Law and Order or some Grey's Anatomy type shit, that show's going to end. That show is going to end. And after it ends, you're going to need another job again. And if you have built up a reputation of always showing up late, not being dependable, not where you're supposed to be, where you're supposed to be there, that shit is going to travel. And that's going to mess you up when it comes to you getting hired again. And then you're going to wonder, I don't know, I'm so talented. I don't understand why people not hiring me. The word traveled. The word traveled that you're not professional. Because bottom line, that's what it ultimately comes down to. Are you professional? And if you're someone that's always showing up late, you're not being professional. You just aren't. And no one cares about your fucking excuse. You know, I tell this to people, your reason is an excuse to me. So people be like, well, that's the reason why I'm late. Okay, but the person you're telling that to, that's just an excuse to them. They're like, oh, well, traffic. All right, motherfucker. Well, you knew traffic is bad in LA. You knew traffic was bad in Atlanta. You knew traffic is bad in wherever the fuck you filming at or wherever the hell you're going. You knew this. Plan for it. You know? Plan for it. Get somewhere early. How about that? Try that out. Now, I get it, yo. In the same way, some of y'all, well, I don't want to get there too early because I don't want to feel like I'm wasting my time. Well, think about the time that you're wasting for the people that was actually on time. And now these people are waiting on you. Now you got to walk in. You got to apologize. You know. So I really think this is something. Now, and then one of my homeboys, and I said this on the podcast too, which is, you know, one of my homeboys was late, you know, this week. And I told him, I said, yo, you're not famous enough to be this late. You're not. You know, I heard The Rock is notoriously late. That's what I've heard. The Rock is notoriously late. That's cool. He's The Rock. He's earned that. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody knows he had fucking 500 businesses going on, you know, at a time. At least got like, seriously, he at least got at least 5 to 10 businesses that he's doing. We respect that. He's The Rock. Okay. The Rock has proven himself. You're not The Rock. Okay. I don't give a fuck if you feel like you're The Rock on the inside. Prove it first. You have to prove that first. Prove that success, professionalism, and track record first before you get to a point where you're like, well, I could just show up an hour late or 2 hours late or 5 minutes late, 3 minutes late. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you just can't do that. Now, Anye said something on the podcast. He said he was on time. And I said, no, you was late. And then, but he still said, he was talking to Rod Kells, I think, or me, but he was basically saying like, the conversation and all the friction and the jokes that they was slinging back and forth, really the shade that they was throwing back and forth, wouldn't have happened if he would have showed up on time. So when he said he showed up on time, that's what he meant by that. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, right? And in that aspect, I agree. Everything happens for a reason. If you a late motherfucker, you a late motherfucker. And I mean, that could be what it is. Or you could, whether you know it or not, be blocking your blessing. Or you could just be blocking your blessing. Now, sometimes I think about this, and this gets really, really introspective. Sometimes I think, what if the person was late or God wanted this person to be late to save their life? On some real shit. Like, what if they would have left their house on time, they would have got into a car accident? You see what I'm saying? Or what if they would have left at the right time and fucking a pole would have landed on them? So God knew for me to prevent that from happening to their life. Let me have them be late for whatever universal reason because I was actually protecting this soul. That's some deep shit. I know some of y'all thinking, has this nigga been smoking? I haven't. So I understood I said all that to say I understood where Anye was coming from when he was saying, yo, basically, I know technically, if you want to go by time, which they all say is a man-made construct, if you want to go by time, but tell that to death, that time is a man-made construct. It's like, okay, but you die. So there's some sort of time span. But anyways, I understand what he was saying when he was basically saying, I was late according to time, a man-made construct, but in the whole spectrum of this thing, in the bigger picture, I got here right on time for all of this to happen. So all of that happened, and it was a very tense episode in moments. And he had to defend himself. And when somebody was late on another episode, and the other people that's been late, they've had to defend themselves. So if that's the type of life you want to lead, cool. But I would implore people, when it's anything of business, when you have a call time, and when you agree to a call time, to stick to it. Just be professional and really think about, is this going to help me or hurt me to be on time? Is being late going to ultimately help me or hurt me? That's what it really needs to come down to. If I'm on time, how are people going to look at me? If I'm on time, will people look at me like, wow, he's on time? Or if I'm late, will people be like, wow, he's late? And I doubt people are going to be like, wow, he's late. Most people are going to be like, bruh, be mindful of other people's time. Be professional. Be mindful of other people's time. And then also, this is something else. I told one of my homeboys one time. He was late one time, and I told him this. I said, bruh, what if I wanted to introduce you to somebody? What if I told you to meet me, let's say at a premiere party or a comedy club or some sort of event, some office building. And I'm like, yo, be here at 12 o'clock so I can introduce you to somebody. And let's say this person is Steven Spielberg. I'm just fucking throwing out names here. Let's say it's Ryan Coogler. Let's say it's Steven Spielberg. Let's say it's Quentin Tarantino. Let's say whoever it is, right? I want to introduce you to this person, and you show up late for whatever fucking reason that you had. And now the person that I was going to introduce you to is like, yo, man, I got to go. Man, I mean, you told your homeboy to be here at 10 o'clock, right? Well, it's 10:03, man. I got a jet. I got to peace out. And then now you have missed your opportunity to meet somebody that could have helped advance your life and or career. Somebody that could have gave you an opportunity. So really think about those things, because you never know what's going to happen. So just think about that, man. Be mindful. Be mindful. That's all I'm saying. Be mindful of your time, where you're at in your career, what you should be focusing on, which is being professional, being kind, and doing what you need to be doing. And then also be respectful to other people's time. Like, comment, subscribe, share. This has been In My Feelings. Justin Hyers, I'm out.